Today we have the all-new 2020 Land Rover Defender 110. We take it into the forest and get into trouble. Find out what happens next on Driving Sports TV.
Apparently it's arm day.
If you venture into the harshest and most remote locations around the world, you'll probably find a classic Land Rover Defender. Chances are, it's the vehicle that got you there. Like this one we filmed in Iceland back in 2013. It's a design that has stayed mostly unchanged since the vehicle was introduced 70 years ago. And for good reason, it's simply one of the most capable vehicles you'll find on the planet. So here we are in 2020 and Land Rover has finally introduced an all-new Defender with the goal of making it the most comfortable and capable Defender ever built. This is the Land Rover Defender 110 SE. It's the longer of two wheelbases offered. The model we've been provided for testing has a number of options, including driver assist, advanced off-road, and standard off-road packs, in addition to a panorama sunroof, Gondwana stone paint job, and 19-inch wheels wrapped in all-terrain tires with a full-size spare mounted on the outside for easy access. Price as you see it here, $72,780 US, including destination. Under the hood is one of two engines. Ours came with the larger 3-liter inline-6, which is turbocharged, supercharged, and also has a 48-volt hybrid system, just for good measure. This puts out up to 395 peak horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque. It's connected to an 8-speed automatic transmission with a dual-range gearbox and terrain response all-wheel drive. EPA rates this setup at 17 miles to the gallon in the city and 22 on the highway. In the back is a textured floor designed for rugged use, with a second row that folds flat once you wrangle the origami seats into position. Under the floor is a storage bin with some tools. There are lots of useful spaces here, including a pocket in the back door and baskets on the side. AC power is available in the back for running a cooler or other accessories while you're in remote locations. To help load the back, you can use buttons to drop or raise the rear deck. Total storage capacity is 78.8 cubic feet with the seats down, or a respectable 36.2 with the second row back up. Our test vehicle also came with a tow hitch receiver. Towing capacity is rated at up to 8,201 pounds. Now, let's check out the seating.
Inside we have tons of room. I got this lovely large panorama sunroof. Got lots of room to move around, plenty of headroom. Footroom's pretty good, although I am hitting that seat in front of me. I get my own vents, I have plenty of power options, and I even get my own armrest with cup holders. Put my phone there. Yeah, overall this is pretty nice. I'd safari in this. Oh, there's also an indicator if a vehicle is coming, so when I open the door, bam, I don't get smashed. That's kind of cool. I like that. So here we are inside, and yeah, it's pretty funky. But if you know your history of Land Rovers, that shouldn't be surprising. I mean, my grandfather used to have a 1968 Series 2. In fact, he had 3 of them. It was the vehicle that he always drove when I was younger. And, you know, that thing was pretty incredible and unlike anything else on the road at the time. It was such a throwback, but also that thing could go anywhere. And quite literally, he took it anywhere. He owned a plantation in Honduras that he won through some barter arrangement. I don't even know. It's, you know, he kind of lived his own life, but he was always around when I was growing up, and I had such fond memories of the adventures that we had in that old Series 2. And yeah, this is like a 1980s futuristic vision of what that Series 2 would look like. I can't tell you why. I mean, there's just certain things about the angles and about the design and just the funkiness of it. Even those little slits in the back, they all remind me of that classic Land Rover that he had. This is great. It really is. It's like the Jan Michael Vincent Damnation Alley vision of the future. I think I just dated myself there. Anyway, yeah, seat adjustments, there are plenty. I also have seat warmers and coolers. And of course I can save memory, which is neat. The center gauge cluster is digital, and I get lots of options here, though not as many as some other systems. Here we have this like trigger. It's like, move forward.
That's a big 10-4.
Yeah! I mean, everything is like with a hoorah here. And it's mixed with like really cool design language. I mean, let's just take, for example, this navigation system. They've done a really good job of designing icons that are clear, yet very simple. And as is typical for all of the Jaguar Land Rover nav systems, it is a little slower than I would really like in terms of response. So here we are on the maps. Let's go ahead and do a quick search. Let's look for Victor's Coffee. Victor's, oh, it even auto-suggested coffee, so we'll say go ahead. Victor's Celtic Coffee, there we go. And boom, pretty quick. I like that. So even though the interface is a little on the sluggish side, the actual functionality is pretty brisk. Let's say you don't like those maps, that's okay, because this, of course, is compatible with most mobile devices. I have an iPhone, so we're looking at Apple CarPlay. Of course, it also works with Android Auto devices. Plug that in, and there we go. We're in CarPlay. And I like it because it's actually like the widescreen CarPlay, which is really cool because when it shows an album cover with artwork, it gives you a really nice big image. Love that. And of course, the screen doubles as a surround view camera system with tracking lines, and it goes one step further with an off-road mode that gives you the status of all your wheels and your differentials. That's really cool. And one step further, yeah, it's also got a towing view to help you align your tow hitch. Also, if you have a full caboose, we actually have a digital rear view mirror, which is kind of neat. I actually don't really like those, to be honest, but I can flip it down and now it's a normal mirror. Let's go to driver assistance. You can see all the different stuff. We have collision avoidance, cruise and speed assistance, driver condition monitor. It'll actually monitor to make sure that I'm not, fatiguing as I cross across continents. And then also has a parking aid for low speed maneuvering, for the malls that these will probably spend most of their lives in. What you have here is just an awesome setup for off-road because you have, of course, the ability to raise and lower the vehicle. You can do that. We also hit this button down here and it puts it into low range. Now, if you've driven an old Land Rover, like move those levers to get them in and out of low range and to change the gears and all that. And of course, this is all electronic. It just does it all for you. You just hit a button and you're good to go. So very neat. The only thing I would complain about is the fact that for 2020, that display is on the small side. I mean, some systems are rocking these massive displays. This one is slightly larger than an iPhone Max on its side. Still, it has all the functionality that you really need, and this isn't about gizmos, it is about off-road. We have all these different control programs that we can hit a button here and then we move a dial to switch between them. We have comfort, come on, it's a little slow, grass, gravel, snow. We have mud and ruts, sand, rock crawl, which is of course the most extreme, wade, which, yeah, you guessed it, this thing can wade through a river. And I'm not talking about the little 1-footers that I test with often. I'm talking like a real raging river. And of course, let's go back to that mode. The final setting is configurable, where we can select on that and we can configure and we can pick everything that we need to do. It is super sluggish to go through all of that, which is a little frustrating. I'd like it to be a lot quicker, but again, the features are here. And you can see everything from the traction control setup to steering. You got heavy, medium, and light, powertrain, responsive, relaxed, and differential setup. Just all the stuff you really need to get through the tough stuff, which is pretty awesome. And wade sensing. So the wade sensing is 2.5 feet of water. That's pretty good. It'll populate underneath the vehicle as you drive, so you can get yourself context for road challenges. So I'm sure you didn't just click on this link so that you could see a perfectly clean Defender sitting in a parking lot. Now it's time to head up to the mountains, and along the way we'll test out some of the more daily driving stuff like, the adaptive cruise control and all that. But once we get in the mountains, we are going to test out all of this four-wheel drive stuff, and it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. Okay, let's do it. Once on the freeway, we can explore some of the other features that, you would expect in a luxury car, not necessarily something you would look for in a qualifiable off-roader. This one, it's loaded. Now granted, many of these are options, so if you're interested in this vehicle, definitely see which one has the package that you want. Number one item, adaptive cruise control. Just go ahead and set it, and it not only detects the lanes, it keeps the speed. That's not right. Oh, I'm having a heck of a time. Resume? Okay, there we go. I had to click resume. Now that we got that taken care of, sometimes these simplified menus are a little confusing. So it's detecting the lanes, it detects the vehicle in front of me. Let's see how well it steers around this corner. It doesn't. It basically is lane detection. It does not have auto centering. Hands off the wheel, what does it do? We're gonna ease over. Nope, nope, nope. Lane detection, no lane centering. Honestly, at this price point, I kind of would have expected that they would have a feature that you find in, a Corolla. But no, not on this one. Still, it does have basic adaptive cruise control. It's very comfortable. You have your Apple CarPlay, so you can play your tunes. Overall, yeah, I drive interstate with this, no problem. Just do kind of wish it has like this steering assist, so it feels like it's steering, but it's really not. No, as we drift off again.
Whenever you venture into the woods, it's always good to bring a co-driver, just in case.
Joining me on the little adventure today is, of course, Carlina Gore. Say hey.
Hey guys.
The Land Rover Defender here, when they came up with this new one, they needed it to be all new, but they also wanted to have, a hat tip to the past. And part of that is, of course, the blocky design. This is actually structural, believe it or not. I have to say, when I first stepped in it, I was a little slightly offended.
By what?
So much plastic.
Oh, well, yeah.
So much like little chintzy pieces that just feel like they're going to break.
And then there's this weird open gap here for.
Yeah,
like,
well, you can reach down and grab your
sanitizing wipes.
Your sanitizing wipes. Yep. Okay. Of course, I have my sanitizing wipes here. They went with kind of like a future retro kind of a look, but unlike that old one, which basically drove like a first generation Jeep, this one actually drives like a modern, luxury crossover. But the question is, has that move to a modern platform and to modern technology made it any less capable? That's what we're going to find out today. Now, we're not doing the Rubicon or anything like that. We are going to go up a mountain road into the forest and probably see some challenges like somebody normally would see. Turning radius? Oh yeah. So when you're tooling around in this just normally, you're like, this is a comfortable luxury crossover, right?
Super
I mean, what would you compare this to probably? Like just any other luxury crossover probably?
Yeah. But this one, oh my gosh.
Yeah, when you lay into it.
It's
and
so
then,
fun.
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of the best of everything.
It is.
So we won't talk about economy because that is not the story here. Yeah.
If you have a lead foot, this car is going to be dangerous for you.
Yeah, it's really easy to go fast, which is
Yeah.
kind of, surprising considering it looks like a toaster on the outside.
It does. A beautiful toaster. I love how it looks though. I'm completely sold on the looks of it.
It looks like it could just fall into that brigade
That's
and
true.
just fit perfectly.
It's true.
So, of course, like all modern vehicles, we have tons of drive modes, and Land Rover has really attempted to simplify everything, and in doing so, I think they've made it more confusing, because this actually is a multi-use. When you hit this, it turns into the comfort program. Now I don't have my climate control. Instead, it's comfort. It's the program for drive mode. So I'm going to go ahead and switch it to. Oh my gosh, this is so slow. We're not fjording water. Rock crawl, sand. There is not a sport mode, but there is an eco mode. But I think what we'll do is we'll do a 0 to 60 just to see how fast this is.
Yes, we should.
And I'm going to keep it in comfort mode because that's the closest thing we have to a sport mode, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and come to a complete stop around the corner here. The numbers say it's fast.
Mm-hmm.
The tech sounds like it's fast.
Mm-hmm.
But is it really?
Let's find out.
See. Okay, come to a complete stop.
All right.
And 3, 2, 1, and go. And away we whoa,
Yep,
there we go.
Yep.
And 60 in
Yep.
6.85 seconds. Honestly, I would have thought it was faster.
Yeah.
0 to 30 is at 2.66 on the brake. So driving this on side roads, like the old Defender actually was a body on frame with solid axles. This thing is fully independent suspension with a unibody construction, which means that it's actually very, very rigid, but also very compliant. It's kind of like this, they've magically been able to get the best of both worlds in a single chassis. Mm-hmm. Or at least that's what they told me. So we'll have to find out today to see just how good it is. And to do that, we are heading deep into the forest. Let's go ahead and pull off into the woods and see how this does.
All right.
Immediately, the floaty suspension on this, it is really a soft suspension setup in general. But once we're on the forest road here, it's clear as to why. Because, I mean, how comfortable is this?
It's really, really comfortable.
I mean, we're booking it down a forest road, got lots of potholes.
Yep. My spine isn't, being smashed right now.
In fact, I'm going to hit some of those potholes just for you. I mean...
That was nothing!
Nothing!
I think a speed bump might be worse than that.
Yeah. Sometimes I take so many just mainstream crossovers down here. It's kind of surprising to feel just how good this can be.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and you don't take it easy on these potholes.
I do not.
You go crazy with that. But this is very smooth.
Ugh.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and I should note that this vehicle is equipped with several option packs. It is the basic Defender SE with the P400 engine, but it also has several of the off-road packages. Well, of course, it gives me all the off-road tech, but also it came equipped with all-terrain tires. So that's going to give us a huge advantage today. What do you think of this interior?
I really like it. It's very simple, but also modern. I also like that there's, little like nuts and bolts all over.
The exposed rivets, yeah.
I really like this. They made it a little more unique than just like, some other cars that we've reviewed, like Toyotas, which is just basically, a mom car. This is not a mom car.
Definitely not.
They made it for, I would say, more of a guy.
Yeah, it's the new generation of highly capable vehicles. I mean, the Bronco. Vehicles that are kind of like your manly off-road vehicles are the new thing. Now the rock trail here, I don't think it's going to be too much of a challenge for this vehicle. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a chance because more wheel time, right?
All right, yeah. Can't complain. Moving the seat up 5 feet.
Right? And I can just chill and go over all the features because there are a lot of features on this rig.
As it goes. All right, cool.
Say hey.
Hey.
Let's try out that crawl mode that this has.
So we're going to go down here. This is our little crawl mode.
I think at that point you hit the up on the set button.
Okay.
Put it into drive. Oh, it is in drive.
It is, right?
So let's try that again. This system is not as easy as it should be because you should just be able to hit it. Like Toyota, you just turn a knob and you're golden. This one, okay, we hit the crawl mode. Okay, it didn't do it. We might be in the wrong drive mode. Let's go ahead and switch drive mode with this dial let's do grass, gravel, snow. Okay, now ATPC selected, hit set plus, so got it, yes. Now you're green, you're good. You're good, you're going, foot off the brake. It should just roll at whatever your target speed is. Okay, yeah, you want to be about 1-2 miles per hour on this stuff. So see where that log is up on the right, sticking out, that piece of wood, or that big rock right there? You want to put this wheel right behind it, and then you're going to turn left. Okay, it had a little work to do there, but not much. Now you're not doing anything, right?
Oh,
No,
there we
we're just
go.
letting the truck do it. Now check
doing
out this
its
too.
thing.
The camera view is showing you what's under the vehicle. Why did the camera view go away when my finger went up there? What are you doing?
It didn't like it.
There we
Did
go.
not
Okay, now
like
it's
it
back.
at all.
Oh, there's an off-road mode. Okay, now off-road we can see. You can see what's going on underneath. Now it's interesting here. I can see that the lockers, your center locker and your rear locker, keep opening and closing. Wheel all the way to the right.
Yeah. Take that as well.
And it's really interesting how it automatically locks that center and rear differential.
Yeah, that's very nice.
It's kind of cool. Okay, let's turn it around and check out how that crawl works on a downhill slope.
Okay, cool.
And obviously, the king of off-roaders, like the Defender here, is not going to have an issue with the rock trail. The rock trail is really to test out the crossovers that we test on here all the time. And also this has so much articulation that it can just reach down. So it doesn't even look that interesting. But the fact is, it's because the vehicle makes it easy. Okay, go ahead and stop, and we're going to put it into crawl mode at 1 mile per hour.
Yes,
And then
bam. And then
plus.
bonus.
No, it's
Nope.
still in the right mode.
Okay.
I have no idea why it's not doing that.
Right.
Okay, this is bad design.
Wait.
Okay, now hit plus up. Okay, now
Okay,
you're good.
now.
All I did was hit it again. Even though it's already
Jesus.
illuminated, apparently I needed to re-illuminate it.
Fair enough.
Okay, so now going down, we don't really need, to shift more power. This is more about individual wheel braking. So it kind of combines everything into one system. Watch that big boulder on the left there. So go into the right. But watch out for this tree. You're good. Okay, super easy.
Yeah.
Great. I think that, obviously that was no problem. Now you got a big lump here, so are you going to straddle it or take a wheel over it?
I was like, let's straddle it. Oh, works.
Okay, so that was so easy. I think that we're just going to continue on into the mountains and see if we can get all the way to the river. Since my name's on the paperwork for this car, I'm back in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
There is a bit of a crest here, and this car does have excellent breakover as well as approach and departure angles. But I want to give us something a little more. I really want to rise to the occasion, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
So we're going to add 3 inches of ground clearance by hitting a
Ooh.
button. You want to look like a totally awesome person? Drive around the mall in lifted mode. We are at about 11.5 inches of ground clearance. I have these great cameras that show me what's right by my wheels. This is very narrow. I'm not in low range at all because it's just not necessary yet. We'll hold that off for the more complicated sections. And look at that, super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Nope, not at all.
One thing I have noticed with this vehicle, going over that rise in particular, is that the brakes are super touchy. Now they are a brake-by-wire system, but the feel is just not there. It's like you got nothing, and now you got everything.
Yeah.
That could use a little refinement,
Yeah.
I think. The power is good though. I mean, we weren't even in low range there, and it had plenty of power to get over that. That really wasn't that big of a deal. Ooh, steering wheel heater's on. Apparently I hit that at some point.
I didn't even know that was a feature on there.
So the steering wheel warmer comes with also this windshield, which I hate. At certain angles of the light, you can see thousands of little wires in the glass.
Oh.
And what that does is it actually, like, almost instantly allows you to thaw the front windshield, which is great. But my eyes, in certain lighting, want to focus on the wires, not on
Fair enough.
the
yeah.
distance, so that's not cool. One of the biggest concerns that manufacturers have when I take vehicles out for adventures like this is that we are going to scratch their paint. So that is something that we definitely have to keep tabs on. They don't want to have to wet sand after my adventures. That's a nice view today.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Definitely don't see any snow, even though it like dumped on Friday. Seems like it's, this is now, I don't even know what day it is today, but it's a few days later and it has cleared up.
I've lost all track of time.
I know,
days.
I don't
It's
even.
been 50 years in the last 2 weeks for me, so.
It's getting a little tighter. It's getting snug. That'll be fine.
Right?
That's fine.
It'll buck out.
That's fine. Buff. If things get really wild, you have this great grip right here. Oh, this is pretty.
Yeah, it is. Although my one complaint,
Yeah.
being a 5'2" female, is that thing. I cannot get the seat to go up far enough, and when it's all the way up,
Yep.
my feet can't touch the floor. So
Ooh.
I got one foot that's all cramped and weird and awkward, and I just can't get nice and relaxed with it.
Oh, that's
so,
disappointing.
So for the short gals out there, or short men,
Yep.
it's kind of,
Yeah, the seating the
Yeah.
seating position's not good. Basically, that's a car that just gets crossed off the list immediately.
Yeah, but
If-
I love this car though at the same time. But that was just a no-go for me.
What was the name of that kid in the Indiana Jones film that had
Oh, God,
the blocks on his feet?
Shoot, I cannot remember, but I know
Anyway,
exactly who you're
that
talking about.
kid. Go and do what that kid did. You're gonna have to or wear platform heels.
Oh boy! Oh no! No! Yeah.
As for me, 6'1", it fits perfect.
Totally.
I got tons of adjustments here, but no seat massagers. Not like saying it needs them, but
It's got heat warmers at least.
yeah, I
No.
got seat warmers.
That's all I care about.
So the last few times, have you ever been to the river before?
No,
Have
we've never made it. Never. We've
Okay.
always got stopped at some
Every
point.
shoot that I've done this so far with Carlina, she's never made it to the river,
Nope,
I guess. I've made it there, so if you've watched a lot of these episodes, you've seen it. But yeah, this will be your first time up there. Nice.
You can't jinx it though.
Oh! Oh.
See, what does the Rock say
Yeah,
today?
the Rock always says something. It's looks like it's currently Toyota. I bet next time we go, it'll be Ford.
It'll be Ford again. Yeah.
Or we should have brought some paint and done Land Rover.
Oh dang! Missed opportunity.
Totally. Next time.
Shoot.
Do not deface public property,
Don't do it.
boys and girls.
Don't do it.
Now, if you're watching and you can see another vehicle behind us, I don't know if you can in this camera, we do actually have a tow rig with us just in case we run into problems. And why are we able to do that? Because we had a sponsored slot on our last video, which means that we can afford more things on this video. That's how it works. So if you see more sponsored slots, you get more things, like we get a tow vehicle just in case. So thank you. You're not kind of getting bored with all of this just random rock, so I'm going to go ahead and put it into that crawl mode and let it just
Sure.
basically cruise control for me, if I can get it into that mode. Oh, for the love of God, just go into a mode.
Why does it have to be so challenging?
it's not that hard, people.
Uh,
Okay, so we're in grass, gravel, snow. I want to put that, nope, I have to do the right sequence. Now I can do it. Do I have to hit it twice? Maybe that's the problem. Okay, I'm going to set the speed to about 3-4 miles per hour on this climb. Whoop, that's a little quick. Yeah, that's about good right there. The road is starting to climb here. It's getting a little rougher. This, I think we might have gotten stuck in the snow here once.
I think this
This
is
might
as
have been
far as we
Highlander?
got.
This might have been Highlander.
Yeah.
This is kind of nice, though. I have to admit, cruise control for off-road, it's a sweet feature.
Right.
There we go. There we go.
Woo.
Yeah. Do you feel like we're like driving into the sunset and it's not
I
even
know,
2
right?
p.m. yet?
Winter time.
I know, right?
Tragic.
Oh, I can see the pipe, which means that the river
Woo.
is just ahead. So I'm going to go ahead. I know it's going to be really challenging after the river.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and switch it into low range. And to do that, do I need to do anything? We put this mode on. We're going to go ahead and go to rock crawl.
Rock crawl, perfect.
Sure, because there is a little crawling that happens afterwards. And then select low range to activate rock crawl. Low, I just hit the button. I have to go to neutral, it's telling me. Low range selected, now I can go drive.
Sweet.
So I'm in low range. I want to see my four-wheel drive mode system though. How do I see? I feel like as soon as I go into that mode, it should have just switched automatically to the four-wheel drive screen. But instead I have to like navigate through menus, 4x4i. I understand. Now I get to the menus. Okay. So I see that both my middle and rear differentials are currently locked. And in case anybody's curious, we're currently at 2,400 feet. Real slow approach. Now the river itself is not the challenge. It's what happens after the river. I see the river is not very high. We don't have a lot of snow melt off yet, but isn't that like the clearest water you've ever seen?
Oh, whoa. Oh, this is exciting. I haven't been this far yet.
Watch those sides. We're in low range, so we can't go too quick. Now I'm gonna try to climb this. This is always a challenge. I've only done this once before. I don't even know if I've ever done it on film though.
Oh.
So we're at a 7 degree. Now I gotta watch out because we have tree stumps very close to both sides of the vehicle. And look at that, you can see how it's using wheel braking on all of them, plus the differentials. It's like all the current off-road tech in one vehicle. It just makes it so easy. I mean...
We got this in this thing.
And it's showing me it's adding extra torque to that rear wheel. It's showing me the articulation. I do.
Yep.
It was so easy. Let's turn around and see if we can go back down just as easy.
Ooh.
Oh, put you in a ditch there.
I know, right?
Can you touch the ground?
Probably. Close enough.
With the primary mission accomplished, we headed up to the lake to film a wrap on this episode and get some sweet slow motion of the Defender doing what it does best. Funny thing about highly capable vehicles, when you make a mistake as a driver, those mistakes can be a lot bigger.
Oh, no.
I had really hoped to get this Land Rover free under its own power, but even the emergency extra lift provided by the air suspension wasn't enough. This was bad, and the sun was starting to set. I called up Land Rover for some advice and to break the news.
Hey Andrew, how you doing? This is Ryan. By the way, your Defender is awesome. Unfortunately, we went for one Hail Mary at the end of the day. We saw this mud pit and we're like, you know, we got 10 minutes, we'll get a sweet slow motion shot. And unfortunately, I've high centered it. We're losing light, so go ahead and email that to me and I'm gonna go run over and grab some boulders. Carolina, can you lend a hand?
Yeah.
Great, let's do it.
Our first plan is to stack rocks under the back tires to give it enough traction to be able to lift itself out.
Apparently it's arm day. I'm gonna start with one of the big ones, I think. And I hope I don't fall in the process. Just go ahead and close that. Ah, it's slippery. I'm gonna, oh wow.
Yeah.
Throw some on the other side. I'm gonna try to work these under if possible. This is my new home. Let's just throw one back there. This ours? Nope. Toyota. Somebody else has had the same exact problem. Mud and ruts program selected. You need to stand back just in case.
With enough time, this technique would have worked. We certainly had enough rocks available. But the light was already starting to get dim. It was time for Plan B, to see if the Toyota Tacoma could pull this Defender free.
Always, always bring a multi-tool.
Like a multi-pass?
Multi-pass.
Nobody
Lilo Dallas, multi-pass. Okay, how does this come off? Oh, it's a... Oh, they're rubber.
Okay.
As you can see, that didn't work. What we needed was more power.
So I'm paying these dudes over here They are going to come and rescue us. They're in a Jeep. Or they might just jack us up in the mud. Who knows? They suggested going backwards, but I really don't want to go backwards because I'm afraid when this goes down, it'll tear the nose off, and that would not be helpful.
The Jeep crew I hired on the spot asked not to appear on camera. Just know that, to get us out, we had to lash the Tacoma to the Jeep for extra weight, while the Jeep's worn winch got the job done.
All right, so just for the record, I want to say that it was Ryan's idea and Ryan's fault that we got stuck, not mine. So he's like, you know what? We got our thumbnail, let's go. Oh, there's a nice muddy hole over there with a nice big hill. Let's give it a whirl and see what happens. What can go wrong?
In spite of my driver's error, I'm still really impressed with the capabilities of this new Land Rover Defender. For those on the market for a thoroughly modern, comfortable, and capable overlander, the new Defender is practically untouchable. Be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, tell us what you think. Do you like this kind of episode? Leave a comment below. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching.